はい、你好，午饭。はい。啊、我叫相一。呃 I know I know a little more Chinese, like 没有 or 不要, but that's all. But bit uh, I'm a bit embarrassed because after this serious talk about SARS virus and everything, my story is not serious at all. So please relax, and maybe you can go to toilet, or you can check your email, or message, and occasionally listen to my story. But I hope you enjoy my story. Today I want to talk about secret side of Japan. Because maybe some of you might have experience to come to Japan or come to Tokyo, but we have a secret side, we have a hidden side. So I want to reveal this secret to you. My name is Kyoichi Tsuzuki. I'm a journalist from Tokyo, Japan. And I started working as a journalist when I was 20 years old. I'm 62 years old now, so it's probably the oldest guy here. I started to work in a magazine office as editorial staff. So I went into one magazine for 5 years and another magazine for 5 years. And then I shift my work to making books. And around the end of 1980s, so 1988 or 1989, I guess, Japan was in the middle of a bubble economy. So the image of Japan was extremely rich. So one New York publisher started a series of beautiful interior books called something style, like a Paris style or New York style or Santa Fe style or Bali style or whatever. And they wanted to make a book called the Japanese style. They wanted to make a book about beautiful Japanese houses. Like traditional Japanese tatami rooms and, like a contemporary Zen kind of design and everything. And they hired me as a location hunter. So I tried to find someone who live in the beautiful places. So I started to work for them, but it was really difficult, to find that kind of beautiful people living in the beautiful places. And suddenly I realized, it must be difficult because no one is living like that. Because it's just the image that we live in a beautiful place, a beautiful Japanese traditional houses, or beautiful Japanese contemporary architecture. Most of us are living in small places, like small apartments or old Japanese houses with just one or two, bedrooms. And then I realized that, and that time I started to think about the idea of it must be more interesting to record the actual Japanese house style. Because when you say style, it must be everywhere. If it's not everywhere, you cannot call it the style. You call it as an exception. And it took me 3 years. This was the first time I bought a professional camera and went around Tokyo and collected, photographed about 100 young people's small apartments, and make a book called Tokyo Style. So I made this book exactly like, same look as Japanese style, same size, same format, and everything. So foreigners can misunderstand this as same kind of fashionable apartments of Tokyo. but actually not. I'll show you the example. It's only 3 tatami room home in central Tokyo area. No furniture at all. Just futon and the cassettes around 1990. The main music source was cassette. This is a typical young people's living environment in Tokyo at that time. I have to remind you that this is a pre-internet period. We didn't have internet. We didn't have digital culture. So in Japan, I think it's same in everywhere. But in Japan, if I was born in countryside and I wanted to become like, for example, musician or artist or whatever, you have to come to Tokyo and work as a temporary job and everything and try to establish yourself. So at that time, a lot of young people came into Tokyo and tried to find a small place and, just to establish themselves. So it was really nice time for me to look at this thing. There's no furniture at all. No bookshelves, nothing. So when you wake up and you don't need to check your shelves, or you don't need to check your drawer, everything. Nothing. You can just wake up and try to find something you need on the floor. And that's this kind of place that's really cheap in Tokyo, like I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 yen every month. This is actually one of the smallest apartment I found in Tokyo. It's in the middle of Shinjuku. It's extremely central Tokyo. This is only a 3 tatami room apartment. And this guy, it's a young boy living here, but he was a young DJ and a punk rock musician. This so small room and extremely cheap. It's about 1,000 yen every month, and no bathroom, no bath, and so he has to go to public bath every day. But he could have a little bigger place if he goes out of central Tokyo area. But in this kind of neighborhood, he has his own, his favorite club or live houses and the bars and everything. So he chose this small place instead of having a little bigger place in the suburbs. This place was so small. I had to take photos of inside from the window outside. This is his. His DJ booth and the kitchen. But that's all, And this is another room of a young boy, And he was working in a fashion shop, So he was kind of trying to be tidy and everything, and he wanted to keep it clean. And this I took photo about 25 years ago, And then like I forgot. 5-6 years ago, suddenly I got the message from a girl I don't know at all. And she said in a message that she is moving out of her apartment very soon, and she loved my book. And she was looking at my book, and she thought this room must be hers now. I kind of doubt it, but I went there anyway. And so this is, look at this. This is 25 years ago, and this is about 20 years ago. So this is the same room, but with different owners, different people living. So this taught me a lot of lessons that, people are talking about architectural design or interior design and nice furniture and everything. But it's not. Room is just a box. It changes with who are living there. If the person is living in a clean style, it became like that. If the person has a more eclectic taste, it becomes like this. We were talking always about interior design, but the personality is much more important. So that was that girl taught me that idea. So this is another typical Japanese old-style house. No? It's really cheap rent house. No? And a good friend of mine, music critic, was living there with his wife and 3 cats. No? And so I went there and photographed it. It's like this, so chaotic. This is his working space, but look at this. It's like he had so many CDs. Like a bottom of the CD, he cannot reach anyway, because it's so heavy pile. But so I took that photos 25 years ago, and last year was like a 25 years not celebration, but commemorated 25 years from original Tokyo style book. So I thought about what happened to them after quarter century. So I tried to revisit some of their places, and I'm still doing that. And this is his room last year, so 25 years after that. It's same kind of approach house, and same kind of Japanese house. And he has now 2 daughters, fully grown up, and same kind of chaos, and same kind of working environment. It's same after 25 years. So that means if you have something really like, if you have something really love, it doesn't need to change. So I think the interior design is not about the pure designer's point of view. It's about how you live. That's what I have been doing after these 40 years, actually, because like this kind of apartment. This kind of most of us are living like that. But but there are so many nice, beautiful architectural magazines and interior magazines and TV programs. But no one lives like that. So what we see in the media is not the reality, but the dream, or just the image. But why do we not care about the reality? As a person who is working in the media, I try to, that's why I try to cover the reality, not the image or not the dream, or I say fake image, because no one is living like that. Then I have made so many books with that concept, and this is one of the examples I show next. As I said, some of you might have traveled to Japan, and we have so many famous, beautiful hot springs, ryokans, and extremely expensive international type hotel and everything. But we don't use that kind of hotels. We don't go to 10,000 yen per night hot springs ryokan. But most of us Japanese, instead, at least once or twice in our lifetime, goes to the different kind of hotel. That's a very unique style hotel in Japan called love hotels. There are so many love hotels all over Japan, much more than regular hotels. But there are no book at all about trying to see that kind of love hotels from the design point of view, from a positive point of view. So I decided to go around the love hotels and photograph the interiors of those hotels. For example, like this is a typical old school, old style lab hotel design. You see the round bed, it rotates when you push the button. When you rotate, it becomes like this, you know? I mean, not that fast as you look, you know? It rotates like one round every minute or something. But it's still, you know, kind of fast, you know? And, you know, you go to bed with your partner, and when it rotates, it doesn't really feel good. You know? It, in a way, it feels sick, in a way, you know, because it rotates all the time. You know? But the point is not rotate. You know, you see there like mirrors, you know, on all the walls and the ceiling, there are mirrors like the previous one is same too. See, this is all mirrored wall and mirrored ceiling. So when you go on top of the bed with your partner, and you push the button, and it rotates, and it becomes like you and your partner's image is like a kaleidoscope, kind of really strange image. You know? So that's a visual pleasure. So we have this kind of hotel all over Japan, but never, you know, published like this. You know, this is a beautiful, you know, bedroom, but look at this strange furniture. You know? Sorry, after the serious talk, it's like this. You know, so you know, you and your partner sit on this chair, face to each other, and you push the button, and the chair moves like this. You know. You can adjust the speed and the height as well. So it's really elder couple-friendly, you know, device. You know? And this one too, and it's in a room, and you see the Volkswagen inside. You know, at least once in your lifetime, you want to have a car sex, you know? But it's kind of dangerous, maybe. I don't know in Ufan, but in Japan, yes. Because someone might watch you, a policeman might come to you, and someone just you know, I mean, record you and put it on the internet or whatever. So instead of challenging the real car sex, you know, go to this kind of room. There is a car here, you know? So you can safely enjoy a car sex inside. But look at this. There is already a bed, so you don't need a car. but you know, instead of bed, some people want to use a small car inside. But this is interesting, I think, you know, as a design. Let's see the final idea. You know, this is a, you know, slider, but it's really, you know, low slider, like 1 meter or something. I don't know how to use this, you know? So it's extremely, extremely difficult way of enjoying this furniture. But, you know, it might be stupid, it might be strange. But there are so many, you know, interior design like this, all over Japan, and all of us are using this. But we don't talk about this. You know? Just like we don't talk about small rooms, small apartments, we are actually living. So that's the reality. That's the difference between the dream and the image that the media try to make and the reality that we are actually living. So I'll give you just one more example. No? We love fashion. And there are so many, you know, international famous fashion design boutique and, you know, fashion shop and everything. And, you know, people, like a designer house, you know, brand, you know, industry, they want to make an image that beautiful people living a beautiful life, having a beautiful car, they are using our beautiful, you know, they're wearing our beautiful clothes or beautiful bag. but it's not. Beautiful people don't need to buy their products. People, like a brand, people will give them as a present because it's a nice advertising or promotion if the famous people like have a Louis Vuitton bag and go to a party and photograph. It's a nice promotion. So I was wondering, who was really buying those expensive clothes, fashion? And then I found out that just the regular people, devoted their life into fashion. I guess it took me like 6-7 years that I, collected all the brand and actual collectors. For example, this is Anna Sui. And it's only one-room apartment, and she was living with her boyfriend. But the room is like this. It's all Anna Sui, from clothes to cosmetics. And the boyfriend got really angry at the end. And so he told her that you have to choose me or Anna Sui. And she chose Anna Sui, of course. So they broke up. But she became the cover of my book, actually. So she's fine. And this is a young boy. You can see he's into Hermes. And he was, I think, 23 or 24 years old. He just started working for some company. He lives in a small apartment. It's very small apartment like this. And he had a toilet, but he didn't have a bathroom. So he had to go to, public bath every day. But to spend all his money into Hermes. I have to think, please stop buying Hermes and move to better apartment with a bathroom. But he loves Hermes so much, it's all Hermes shirt and everything. And so he commute to his office, like I think 25 or 30 minutes walk. But to save money, he always walk to his office with this Hermes bag. It costs 500,000 yen, which is like 25,000 yuan. It's expensive, but Hermes price. So he brings his expensive Hermes bag and walk to the office every day. But it's hot in summer, So he had to sweat all over. But sweat is no good for a nice Hermes leather. So he had to use this towel, to get rid of, to prevent the sweat to damage his expensive Hermes bag. So you can see the towel there. But it's not just a towel, it's a Hermes bath mitten. So he's really into Hermes. But you can see he doesn't even have an air conditioner. So, but that's interesting. This is Marta Margiela guy, and this in only one room but this collection of Margiela. And this is Comme des Garçons, and this is Gucci collector. It's a 2-floor Japanese old house, and the ground floor, first floor, his husband is doing a Japanese pancake okonomiyaki shop. Upstairs, they are living there. But usually the wife is hiding her Gucci collection, so the husband still don't know. But it's amazing. And this is my favorite guy. It's a Versace collector. It's only one room. He's working as a school teacher, I think English, and with his wife in this one room, It's only one room, so I asked him to show me his collection, so that's why it's like this. But usually it's all, in a box. See, this is at night. They have to clear everything and put on a futon and sleep like this, If they stop buying a Versace, they can get the bigger house. But they don't care. It's much nicer to be surrounded by what you love. But so it might look really stupid. But think about it too. If instead of this Versace, think about it. If there is a 1,000 or 10,000 books, in a small room, you don't say they are stupid. They look like a kind of a super intellectual guy. And if it's instead of a book, if it's like records, must be little down. But if it's a brand fashion, it's really the bottom images. I mean, just stupid. So, so we think collectors, but there are hierarchy. If you spend your money into books, you are respected. If you spend all the money into fashion, you are laughed at. But I think the energy is the same. It's not image, but it's the happiness of life is if there is anything you are totally into. So anyway, what I wanted to say today is, so from that kind of images, you can see that our way of enjoying life in a small space, instead of working something you don't want to, there's another way of life. You just don't, if you don't want to work hard, don't want to work hard. It's much better to find the happiness with what you have. And look at those, try to remember like Tokyo-style people. They have this small room only, but so they don't have a nice kitchen, or they don't have a nice dining room. So they cannot invite their friends, and there's no nice library or something. But instead of that, they have their favorite restaurant or cafes or bars just beside their apartments. Or they have a library, or they have a convenience store very close to them. They use their town as an expansion or extension of their apartment. So they use their town as a part of their home. That's a really clever way, I think, to survive in expensive cities. And so as I said, this is in our DNA in Japan. But I think this kind of concept or philosophy, we are really influenced by Chinese, Oriental, and especially Chinese ancient philosophy, especially Taoism. Think about it like a modern day China. Image of China is money, crazy architecture and crazy shopping and 12 different colors of a Ferrari or things like that. But I thought there must be a lot of people who live in China, who live in a small apartment and not miserable, not unhappy, but having a nice, comfortable, modest, humble, happy life. So I wanted to collect those photos, and I wanted to go to those apartments, and I wanted to make a book called Shanghai Style. And this is a good friend of mine, Japanese girl and a Chinese boy, man living there like this. Instead of trying to find a more modern apartment that you can see the behind, they wanted to live in a small, old-style Shanghai apartment because it's more inconvenient, but it has more atmosphere. So they have this style, but like this, old-style Shanghai apartment with everything. But so they have a terrace, and they have to do the laundry like this. It's original Shanghai style as 1920s or so. They don't have a kitchen. So that's inconvenient. But instead, each floor they have so-called, I don't know, community kitchen. So it's kind of inconvenient, but it has more communication with the town people. That's another way of using the town as an extension of your room. So I want to do more of this project. Like, I want to go back to China more often and try to find a small apartment. If you are living in this small, cheap apartment and having a happy life, tell me so I can go back. And I can come into your room and photograph and show to Japanese people that our origin of our idea is from Chinese Taoism. And so it's already 40 minutes, so I have to finish my story. But there is my favorite Chinese philosopher. It's, I think, 3rd century or so. It's almost 1,800 years ago. It's, I don't know how to pronounce in Chinese, but he's one of the philosophers of, how do you call it, 7 philosophers of bamboo forest. It's like heaven and earth is my home. My room is my pants. No? So you can see, I show you some example of Japanese rooms. It's interesting because it's you. Because it's so small, you cannot hide your personality. So what's interesting to see someone's lifestyle is because you can see them, how they are living. So the interior design, not interior design, room is really interesting because it's your personality. So please don't try to hide your personality. You don't need to go to IKEA and buy more furniture. You can spread everything on your wall, in the floor, and put it on your wall or everything. So because it's an expression of you. So I hope you remember this ancient philosopher's idea and don't try to work harder and try not to buy a house and stay in a small apartment and enjoy a relaxed life. So thank you very much for coming.